Ms. Hogan.
Present.
Mr. Zawada.
Here.
Mr. Hemingway.
Here.
Mr. Updegrove.
Mr. Updegrove.
Here.
Mr. Brophy.
Here.
Ms. Nyman.
Here.
Ms. Deeroff.
Present.
Mrs. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Pinarello.
Here.
All present.
Let's rise for pledge of allegiance and moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board of School Directors met in executive session on Wednesday, June 28th, collective bargaining. The meeting lasted approximately 60 minutes. Public comment period number 1, there's no one signed up. So we're going to go into approval meeting minutes.
Zawada moved.
Hogan second.
Was that Mr. Brophy and Mrs. Hogan?
It
Oh, I'm
was
sorry, Zawada.
Zawada
Mr. Zawada
and Ms. Hogan.
Mrs. Hogan.
And you're okay if you're on her computer. I'm gonna help in a second.
Yeah,
They're
we're
having
having
problems
problems
with
over
docs.
Where's our IT guy?
But, excuse me?
Just corner.
Did we not have, I believe Miss, would, I understand they were all checked. Board Docs is having a problem that we identified, and we have a workaround, but I also know that there were agendas that,
By Ms. Kramer.
yeah, Ms. Kramer had copied agendas, and are they with your things in the or, right, no? Okay.
This one's in here, but.
Yeah, yes. I know Ms. Kramer had made those copies. Yeah. Mrs. Kramer saying that Mike has the copy, so anyone that cannot get on due to the board doc problem. Okay, got you back on hold until you get here. All right? Thank you. Okay, just hang on there till you walk in. Put you on speaker, have you on speaker. Right now, we're just trying to get people set up. We were having a problem with board docs. And we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented, Mr. Zawada and Ms. Hogan, first and second, so we're getting ready to take a roll call vote.
Take it now.
Yeah.
Roll call for the minutes. Mrs. Hogan.
Yes.
Mr. Zawada.
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway.
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove.
Yeah.
Mr. Brophy.
Yes.
Ms. Nyman.
Yes.
Ms. Deeroff.
Yes.
Mrs. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, first we have Mr. Shield to give us an update on the 2023 capital projects presentation.
Hello. So before we get into the new capital projects, I want to give an update on the water project over at New Hanover. It is completed with the exception of chlorinating the lines, sanitizing the lines, testing for coliform, and getting the final inspections done. So we did it well in time for COA, and we're in good shape there. We have running water throughout the building that is chlorinated and treated for iron and manganese. So I wanted to share that with everyone to let you know that that was a success. So for the 23-24 year, we're looking at, I think there's 19 items. One is the gas void, which is district-wide. That gas void is used at our facility to monitor our diesel fuel usage between Quigley and our vehicles. The system is outdated, non-supported, and it has a hard wire that runs to a desktop. So the only way for us to pull data is to actually download it from that computer. The new upgrade will be cloud-based and more technologically in line with the times. Second, at Bash, we're looking at 2 more Jaces. We did this last year. We have 2 more to do after these 2. So that's a price of $55,000. What's that?
What is that?
A Jace, they're what let our building management system talk to the computers, so we're able to control our boilers, our chillers, classroom temperatures, all of that. The hardware that is currently installed is outdated and not supported, so if we don't update, they crash.
So how much are you gonna be doing this year?
2 of them, 3 and 4. We did 1, 2, and 3, we're at 3 and 4, and we have 5 and 6 left to do.
5 and 6? Thank you.
Yep. We have the stadium bleacher project, which we started last year. We did the platforms. Now we'd like to do the risers and the steps going up. So this is for material. We did all the labor in-house. So we installed them. This is just a material.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Don't we have an agreement that they supply labor?
They removed some of the wood. We did the metal and welding.
Well, you just said we supplied the labor in-house.
We did the welding and the bolting of the planks. They removed the wood. That's what they were capable to do.
They who?
The Legion.
Okay, but I thought they were supposed to provide manpower for all the repairs. We just paid for the supplies.
I can ask and look into that.
Well, according to their agreement, but
Okay.
whatever. I wish we had checked that because it's not the way I read it.
Okay, I'll check that.
Thank you.
We have sidewalk repairs at Middle School East. The front sidewalk in front of the building has started to sag. It's below the curb. We're gonna pump grout that back up, make it level, so that way it's safe to walk over. Also at East, the PA clock, their PA system, the clock drifts from the bell schedule, which makes it very difficult between classes because the bell and the clocks don't line up. Also, it was brought to our attention, which is a safety concern, that when they make PAs, it's not always audible. So from a safety standpoint, that needs to be replaced. There's also parking lot repairs in Middle School East. We have a lot of crumbling macadam that needs to be milled and overlaid. At Washington, we also have a pretty big spot in front of the dumpsters where the macadam is crumbling and it needs to be milled and overlaid.
This isn't quick patch, is it?
No. This is actually, they mill it and then overlay it. At Washington, we are also continuing with the window panel replacements. This has been going on for years. We did 17 last year. We'd like to do another 17 this year and continue. We have almost the whole exterior of the building, but the courtyard still needs to be done.
So about how many do we have to do yet?
I didn't count. Probably close to 20 yet.
Thank you.
Yep. At Washington, we also have the carpet removal to change over to VCT. We have 2 classrooms to complete, and then all the classrooms are free of carpet. It's all VCT. At Boyertown Elementary School, the LGI HVAC system is no longer working, and due to the aging condition, we need to replace the whole unit. So that's a price of $78,000.
That's still gonna be electric.
It's going to be a VRF system, so it's much more energy efficient. So it's almost like a heat pump instead of having the electric duct coils that heat up, take large amounts of electric. Kitchen window replacement at Cobrookdale. We did one side. We wanted to finish the other side. It turned out really well. The old single panes were leaking a lot of our heat and air conditioning out. At Earl, we have 3 carpets to replace, And then we have 2 more after that, which are 2 smaller rooms.
I'm replacing them with carpet though, right?
No, that's all VCT.
Okay.
Yes, sorry about that. At Earl, also the nurses unit has died. That's an old rooftop unit. We're going to replace it with a VCT, or not VCT, VRF system, which is similar to what we have in the rest of the district for air conditioning. At Earl, we also need to scarify and reseal the roof. The roof there is in desperate need of repair, and that would be taking the foam, scarifying it, refoaming it, and sealing it. That comes with a 15-year warranty. At Gilbertsville, we have one of the domestic water heaters. The heat exchanger inside's bad, so we need to replace that. At Gilbertsville, we started last year with taking out all the wet foam and resealing those areas, and we need to recoat the roof. At this point, that has a price tag of $921,857. At New Hatter,
Will that finish up the roofs for Gilbertsville, or is that?
that is the majority of the roof. The front, the old section, like the very front, and the side is foam. So everything from there, from that double hall all the way back to the gymnasium would be coated.
We've done, so how much more is left?
Just those 2 foam roofs.
No, there's no, okay, beyond, this is beyond that.
Yeah, this is beyond those 2 foam roofs.
What kind of a warranty on that?
25 years. At New Hanover, we have a day tank for the generator. The motor is at the end of its life. It's not returning the oil well, so we need to replace that. And at New Hanover, we also have some sidewalk repair that needs to be done where the concrete's actually coming out in chunks. So
Has there any been discussion about the flagpole there?
the flagpole at New Hanover, no.
Do we get into that and get a price on that?
Absolutely.
Every school should have a flag in front of it.
Yes, we can absolutely do that. So the total for the capital projects for this year is $1,886,734.
These projects would be paid for out of our capital reserve funds.
Any questions?
The sidewalks now, are you gonna try and get that done before school starts?
Mhm. I'm going to try to. I already have estimates out. I contacted contractors, and they work really well. They work really fast. If you looked over at Boyertown, L, they did that stretch there, so they can move pretty quick. It's just a matter. It's the porch and the very front of the building there is bad. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Fite. Update on Vantage Financial Lease Agreement Proposal and Presentation.
Good evening, everybody. It's a 2-part presentation, pretty quick and simple. The first priority and objective is to convert our 9th through 12th grade student computers, our one-to-one program, back to a Windows-based environment. This was a project that we worked on along with the partnership with OTL and the high school administration. They approached me about the feasibility of converting our 9th through 12th grades back to Windows computers. I'm in full support of this initiative as I believe it offers a benefit to the real world applications that our students will have post high school, whether it be in postgraduate education or their first careers. To do so, we will be going into 4 lease programs, fair market value lease programs with Vantage Financial, which will allow us to purchase 2,248 devices, which will be carried through to the graduation of the class that they are offered to. So for instance, the 9th grade computer will last 4 years for that individual student. Because we are initiating this process mid-school year, we have to take care of 4 grades at once. So the 10th and 11th grade will be given a refurbished, which is a certified pre-owned device. And that device will correlate with the fair market value lease that we purchase it with. Our 12th grade, because it doesn't really make feasible sense to give them a device and then take it away for 1 year, we will collect that device after their 12th grade class this year, certify it ourselves, repair and clean, and then issue to the class of 2028. So we will get 5 years out of that purchase. As you can see on the slide, those are the 4 separate leases that we will be purchasing through Vantage Financial. The red blip there is just a little bit of a summary. Total cost of ownership would be just over $1 million if we were to outright purchase. A fair market value lease means that we will not have any liability to the machine after that lease is up. We will simply reship that machine back to Vantage Financial, who will then grade the machine, and that'll be the end of the terms. The reason we do this is that we will not have any labor in either trying to sell it ourselves or recertify it, because it will be at the point of end of life in our estimation.
What will they consider in good condition?
So they do have 3 benchmarks which are industry standard. There's a grade A, B, and C. If the machine does not grade A, B, or C, they will inform us of that. Basically, if the machine functions, they should fall within A, B, or C. If it's run over by a car, we might have a different discussion. But
The charge for that?
it would be the charge of the fair market value. So there is an algorithm that will be developed at the end of the lease where they will tell us this machine is worth X number of dollars. The district does have the option to purchase the machine should we feel that there is a need, or we can simply send it back to Vantage Financial. If we disagree with Vantage Financial's evaluation of the machine, we can ask for a mediator to determine the condition of the machine. I've worked with companies like this in the past. We've really never had that issue.
One question I have, though.
Sure.
We discussed, I guess about 6 months ago, about reusing the ones that we're trying to sell, the ones that the students are turning into the seniors. And we were basically told they had no value whatsoever.
They were Chromebooks. These are Windows devices, so there is a difference.
All right, because I'm looking at a $34,000 difference. I'm saying, okay, and I know
Well, that 34.
leases, they kind of try to pick them apart as much as possible, so.
So that $34,000 is the difference in the 5-year cost total of all 4 leases versus purchasing outright. If we were to finance the cost on a dollar buyout lease, for instance, we would probably incur about $8,000 worth of added fees per lease. So the cost of ownership would actually increase versus outright purchase, if that makes sense. And then we would own all 2,200 plus devices and need to find a home for them. We can pick and choose with what number of devices we keep, should we decide. The next slide is a long-term investment on the entire K through 12 one-to-one program. We have about 1,200 machines that will be entering their 5th year of life, and those are Chromebook devices, and that is an industry standard of the end of cycle. So we will have to supplement our stock yearly, starting next spring, with Chromebook devices as we graduate machines out. So that is a graph to show the one-to-one hardware costs that will be incurred to the IT budget starting this year, 23-24. That high level projection is where we come into our COVID purchase that was purchased just before COVID. Those machines will age out at that time frame. That's why that peaks at that point. In the 28-29 school year, that is where we will flatten out, and we should be at that standard moving forward. Does anyone have any questions?
Is there an explanation or what they expect the units to be working at, like a year end, what they're gonna tell us, what they expect these units to be working? I know you said that there's 3 different levels, but do they have a definition of what those 3 different levels are?
They do.
What the difference in cost is?
Well, no, they will set a fair market value for the hardware. They will tell us what it's worth. And then they will grade the machine. As long as the machine falls into that grade, they are acceptable to be returned.
Can I get a copy of that?
Sure. I'll ask Vantage Financial for a copy, sure. Yes, ma'am.
It seems like every time somebody new comes into your position, we wind up doing something different. What's a guarantee we're gonna stay this way now?
Well, I can't sit up here and tell you that there's a guarantee. I believe that I work alongside curriculum and administration. When curriculum and administration come to me with how they would like to deliver content in the classroom, I need to be receptive to that. I don't want the technology to drive curriculum. But I do tell them up front, and I had that discussion with Dr. O'Bara when she approached me about this initiative, that I need to make sure it's feasible under the context of the IT budget. And all of this fits within the IT budget.
Mrs. Nyman, just to make a quick point, your comment is very valued with respect to the flexibility as technology moves forward. The cost of the Windows-based devices has come down a significant amount, that it is very comparable to the Chromebook purchases. And as we evaluated what the overall need at the high school level would be to try to connect with the modernization of what the outside world needs, the Windows-based device provides much more ability at that particular time, and that's why when the cost became more effective to allow that, and we are now looking at the recycling, the moving forward of replenishment of devices, we now have a long-term plan for that to happen, which to be honest with you, had not really happened in the past. Now we've got an outlook for what that looks like. So this is kind of a modern approach to what we need to do to meet the needs of our students.
Also, just say I'm a student, I got one of the refurbished ones,
Mhm.
and we're having issues.
Mhm.
Who's gonna be responsible?
Yeah, I got to look at it as long as it's not accidental damage and something that caused post. But if it's something with the machines not working, that they are also come with a warranty. There is a covered warranty that is against accidental damage, which would be if I dropped it off this podium, that would not be covered. But if the hard drive goes, if the circuit board goes, if something with the power supply goes, that will be something that we will discuss with the vendor that we are purchasing the devices
We're
from.
not gonna hold the student accountable then.
Correct. Not for that, no.
One more quick question. Is there a policy for the students, if something is broken, stolen, they're responsible for the replacement fee?
That is something we send out yearly as part of our tech fee initiative, yes.
And also, Mr. Zawada, there's an acceptable use policy that they sign off on the acceptable use of the device.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the treasurer's report.
For June, the local revenue delinquent tax collection was approximately $179,025. Our earned income tax collection was approximately $717,226, and transfer tax collection was approximately $122,254. For state revenue, we received special education subsidy of $1,108,911. We received basic education funding of $4,619,944. We received a retirement reimbursement subsidy of $2,366,044. We received $588,247 for pupil transportation. For non-public transportation subsidy, we received $67,760. As far as expenditures, the largest expenditures for the month were salaries and benefits. That accounted for approximately 80% of our monthly expenditures. Salaries and benefits are always higher in June because we accrue back the salaries that are paid out in July and August for our professional staff as they relate to the school year that ended in June. That's it.
First item under the superintendent's report itemized agenda is for the Board of School Directors to approve the capital projects for the 2023-2024 school year.
Nyman moves.
My apologies, I jumped the gun. We do need to have a motion to approve the treasurer's report. Yes, we'll take this vote first and then we'll go back to the treasurer's report. We're going for the capital projects first and then we'll go back to treasurer's report. We tend to do that.
Hogan motions.
Nyman took the motion and Mr. Panarello was second.
I
Any questions or anything before we vote? All right, let's vote.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Brophy,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Let's back up and look for the Board of School Directors to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Hogan motions.
Deeroff seconds.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Brophy,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next, we are looking for the Board of School Directors to approve the Vantage Financial Lease Agreement proposal for the purchase of computers from Dell and Vivacity Technology as presented.
Hogan motion.
If I sustain to not having all the information for the lease agreement at the end, is that a good enough reason to sustain? Mr. Solicitor?
The answer is yes, you can abstain, but this is not you're going to say an abstention for a non-conflict of interest reason. It will be treated, however, as a no.
Mrs. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Abstain to a non-conflict of interest.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Brophy,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Panarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next we will be asking for the Board of School Directors to approve Amy Dombrowski as Boyertown Area Middle School West Principal as presented. And tonight we are excited to introduce Mrs. Dombrowski as our recommended candidate to replace Mrs. Stephanie Landis, who has moved on to replace Dr. O'Barrow as our Director of Teaching and Learning. Just a little bit of background with respects to the process in which Mrs. Dombrowski has been recommended. There was a pool of approximately 25 candidates, of which that pool was narrowed down based upon experiences within administration and leading a building, any experiences with middle schoolers, etc. And the field had dropped from 25 down to 6 that were interviewed. There was a level 1 interview and a second level interview, which was made up of a strong group of individuals who had experiences in the middle school, who were experienced administrators, etc. As part of the process, we were looking for people, for individuals who could demonstrate meeting the needs of students, staffing, budget, collaboration, leadership, community relations, and data, as well as being able to present a performance task on professional learning committees. The candidate were evaluated on their experience, qualifications, and fit for the school. The following are some of the reasons why the team chose the selected candidate. The candidate had a strong background in education with experience as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal, experience with understanding the needs of middle school students and working with middle school students, and the candidate was a strong communicator and leader, as well as had a clear vision for the school and how to continue initiatives started in the school to continue to work on improving student learning. And ultimately, the team had chosen the candidate that we have before you. So I will be looking for the Board of School Directors to approve Amy Dombrowski as Boyertown Area School District Middle School West Principal as presented.
Discussion? Okay, first of all, thanks, Mrs. Torsia, for the explanation on the process that we went through. I really do appreciate that. Whereas all the positions we fill here at Boyertown in the district are important, and they are, I believe the principal position is even more important. To me, the principal position is the line management person. They are your boots on the ground. They are the ones that sees what's going on. They are the ones that understand the pulse. They're the ones that can get back to you to tell you what things are happening and how to stay ahead of them. And they also tell you how we're performing. That's your eyes and ears of your organization. It's a multifaceted position for several reasons. One, it's an academic position. Obviously, we're an academic institution. That's what we are. We're an academic organization. So we should be. But there's more to it than that. A principal it's your building. It's absolutely your building. So you have to understand the physical portions of the building. Is the environment in the building, due to maintenance or anything else, conducive to a good workplace and learning? That's something you got to look at. It's yours to understand. It's not the maintenance department's. It's actually yours. You work in conjunction with maintenance for that. HR, you have to have your manager also. You have people working for you. You have to deal with that, and you're going to be the face that most parents are going to see first as part of the management organization of Boyertown Area School District. So first impressions are priceless. So that's all the things, and there's many more. I'm just touching the surface of what a principal position is to me. So one thing I would like to see in the future is I'd like to see the board working more with the administration in that process. I don't think we're involved enough to ask board questions. The interview asks a lot of academic questions and a lot of other different questions, but what's the board questions? I don't think we're jumping in there enough. And that's nothing against. I'm not trying to shoot down anything happened so far here. I just think going forward, as we try to get better as an organization, that's some of the things I think we got to look at. It should be, looked at between board leadership and the administration to look into that and see if there's a way to do that. I'm not going to make suggestions here. That's not the purpose of this meeting. But anyway, thank you. I would thank the people that were on the interview committee. I just want to see us improve in that, and I still want to see us get better with it and work with the candidates better. Thank you.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Brophy,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Mrs. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
I'm quite certain there's a sigh of relief from Mrs. Landis in the back as well, knowing that she'll be able to begin transitioning. Thank you. Next up, we have personnel, and we are looking for the Board of School Directors to approve the personnel agenda as presented.
Nyman moves.
I'll second.
We have Ms. Nyman first and Mr. Updegrove second. Okay.
I see that there's 3 special ed LS. I would assume that is that life skills teachers
Learning support.
or learning support.
If it's just one L.
Oh, okay,
Life skills, or I'm sorry, if it's 2 S's, it's life skills support.
okay.
Yes,
Are these full-time teachers?
they are.
So we're down 3 special ed teachers.
We are.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hogan,
Yes.
Mr. Zawada,
Yes.
Mr. Hemingway,
Yes.
Mr. Updegrove,
Yes.
Mr. Brophy,
Yes.
Ms. Nyman,
Yes.
Ms. Deeroff,
Yes.
Mrs. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Pinarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment period number 2, Taylor Habrilla. We need it right now.
There we go.
Good evening, Boyertown School Board. My name is Taylor Havrilla, and I'm a senior on the Lady Bears field hockey team. First off, I just wanted to say I'm beyond proud to be a student and athlete here at Boyertown Area Senior High. From my freshman to sophomore year, I noticed a huge change in the success of Boyertown field hockey. Before the 2021 season, our team struggled to win games and did not make it to the playoffs at all. It was not the lack of talent, because they were all strong players. It was the fact that they practiced and played on grass every day, while other schools were preparing at a much faster pace on turf. The next season, Boyertown field hockey started achieving new goals. With our new coaching staff, we were able to secure time at 422 Sports Complex. We are winning games, sustaining a strong record, and even making it to the PAC final. Keep in mind, our field hockey team has not made it to the playoffs in years. Along with that, we were advancing in districts. In news articles, we were known as the underdogs, as we were beating teams no one thought was possible. As for the 2022 season, our team reached new heights. We had our expectations raised to a new level from having such a successful season the year before. Not only did we have a 13-3-1 record, we became the PAC champions of 2022, a league title. The amount of dedication and persistence from every one of our coaches and players was absolutely incredible these past seasons. With these accomplishments came struggles. Since 2021, we have had to travel every single day because of the only grass fields at the high school. Us as a program has raised money on our own to be able to go to 422. Without 422, we would not be as successful as we are today. Not only do we have away practices, we also have every single home game away at other schools. Opposing teams do not want to come to our school to play because of the conditions of our fields. Along with that, our seniors have not gotten the recognition of a senior night at their own high school. For the past 2 years, the fact that our seniors have to be recognized at our own opponent's field is a shame. When talking to my friends from other teams in the area, it is embarrassing to mention that my school cannot provide turf for athletes. Boyertown is the only school in the Liberty Division who doesn't even have one turf field. The only piece of equipment we have is a strip of turf that is put on the softball infield. Our coach also raised money for us to have this. Not only can hockey benefit from turf, but so can girls, boys, and boys soccer and lacrosse. I understand that this is my last season and getting turf is not going to happen for me and my senior class, but I still feel very strongly about standing before you and expressing my feelings about the importance of future Boyertown athletes having the opportunity to play on turf. Thank you.
Diana Gilbert.
So I'm here to begin the dialogue about the process of acquiring turf athletic fields at Boyertown Area High School. In the 70s and 80s, athletic turf was bad for athletes. However, in the late 90s and early 2000s, turf was revolutionized. The new turf provided superior playing surface, was better for athletes, and was weatherproof and could be played on 24/7. In 2002, a school in our league took a chance on the new turf and installed 3 turf fields. Skeptics were won over when the benefits of the athletic turf were quickly realized. In the next 10 years, school after school has installed athletic turf and also soon recognized how the school, its community, and the student athletes benefited from the turf. Turf is no longer a question, it's a necessity. In case you're unaware of just how widely it is used now, here are some quick numbers. Schools that have turf fields, every school in the Liberty Division, 3 of those schools have multiple turf fields. All of the public schools in the Frontier Division have turf, and 3 of those much smaller districts have multiple turf fields as well. Pottstown will be getting a turf field in the coming months. Clearly, other schools have seen the benefits of turf and decided it is a fiscally responsible decision. If you want to look at Berks County schools, you will find the same result. Small and large schools have turf, many with multiple fields. Most schools in and out of our league have had turf for many years. It is no longer cutting-edge thinking, nor is it seen as a luxury to have turf fields. As a matter of fact, teams literally are not permitted by the PIAA to play district-level field hockey on games on grass. This has caused the field hockey team to lose home field advantage in the past 2 seasons. In the past 2 years, the field hockey team has raised money to practice on the turf at 422 Sportsplex. The coaching staff has also made the decision to play all their games away so they could play on turf. It has meant senior night at another school's field. The head field hockey coach even took it upon herself to obtain her CDL so that she wouldn't have to fear missing an away game because of the recent shortage of bus drivers. This team and its coaches are solution-focused. Despite these obstacles, the team who has not won a league championship in 20 years has been the league runner-up and league champion in the past 2 seasons. Turf fields would mean no more rainouts, no more rearranging transportation, not having the difficulty of getting officials for rescheduled games. It would mean students will miss less class time because they always need to leave early for early dismissals to get to away games. It would mean having senior night where it belongs. As a resident of the school district, I would like to believe that we are forward thinkers and not living in the 70s or 80s anymore. We have to ask the question, when does being fiscally conservative cross the line and start harming students? At this point, we are one of the last, quite possibly the only 6A school in District 1 without a turf field. To say we have fallen behind is an understatement. Please begin the process of acquiring a turf field so our students have the same opportunities as other students in other school districts. Thank you.
Kevin Forger.
Hi, good morning. Good evening. A little nervous, sorry. Thank you, board. My daughter called me out about this, about writing a list of things, why we should have turf in Boyertown. She's in North Carolina, wanted to come and speak, but number one, players won't get muddy if they're jerseys, you know. 2, no bugs or ticks. The one that got me is at the end, so bear with me. Like I said, I'm a little nervous. No mowing of the grass. I think my 9-year-old got involved in that one. Need to compete with Pac-10 schools. I think it's been stated here. It's no secret. You know, the thing that started bugging me in this list, and as I get stewing about it, it takes time away from academics driving back and forth to Boyertown. I mean, it's, you know, inevitable that, you know, school work obviously is most important to me. Sports are second. I mean, let's be realistic. So, but you know, when she has to drive half an hour to go to Pottstown to practice, it really isn't real. You know what I mean? So, and the 7th thing is pretty much why I'm here, is the drive to Pottstown. What if something were to happen? You know, I was told to speak with my heart. I don't have a big fancy speech. It was great that you spoke. There obviously is a lot of talent on the team. I don't know why it's a problem. It's kind of a shame. It's embarrassing if you think about it. You know, we're not in the past. We're in the future. You know, look ahead to the times. Let's get out, you know, in front of it. That's all I got. I mean, thanks. Appreciate everything.
Board comment period.
Okay, in light of what happened with the floods with Antietam School District, do we have a plan in place if we should have a tragedy like that? Are we gonna be caught off guard like they were? Or do we have anything going on? That was one of the first questions. And to the president, we talked about this Act 93, and it was recommended a committee be put together. Are you prepared to appoint a committee?
Not at this time.
Is there a reason why?
I want to delve into it more.
Okay, I don't want to argue, but that's what a committee would do.
Yeah, but I want to see what the committee wants to do, talk to everyone. I mean, we can talk about it now if you want to discuss it now. I'm fine with that.
That's up to you.
That's fine.
But I really think we should put a committee together and not wait.
So what do you want the committee to be able to do exactly?
To go over all the things in the act.
Oh, you mean just address the Act 93?
Pardon me?
Just address Act 93, not the whole I thought you more wanted to do it for the finance part of it, not the whole.
No, the
Okay.
whole Act 93. I mean, it has to be gone over. We need a new one.
It would be a nature of an ad hoc committee, under our policies.
Okay.
Versus a permanent standing committee.
Well, we could find out who wants to be on that committee and move forward from there.
I would
And I
like
don't think we're touching that though till after everything's done with the teacher's contract.
Okay, we wouldn't even talk about it. Okay, well,
We could discuss it in an ad hoc, yeah.
if you do decide to have one, I'd like to chair it if I could.
Okay.
Else? Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate the field hockey ladies. They deserve the recognition. And I'm a little embarrassed that we didn't. That's, we talk about all these other sports, but I have a wife that can't play golf because she's played field hockey her life, so she can't get the club past this. I want to thank or wish Ms. Dombrowski the best of luck and let her know that the board's here to help her in any way. And whatever we can do to make sure that our students are getting the best education possible, please let us know. I would like to suggest at this time that maybe we direct the AD director to begin researching and possibly getting bids for these turf fields, so we have an idea, what we could afford or not afford. But if we're, we seem to be, Boyertown's always been known for their sports. We've always been known for our education and our band. So, again, I think it's something worthwhile to definitely look into. We reached out last year and we said, well, we're going to try women's wrestling. And it worked out to be very good. Now, the cost factor is nowhere near what a turf field is, but if we put our minds together, I think something can be worked with the community, the sports teams, and the board and the administration. So I would ask the president and the superintendent to possibly send a letter to our ID director and maybe start the research.
Do we want the more board support on that?
I mean, my first day in there, I asked you,
I know.
and I asked Patty.
So do you want,
I mean-
Mr. Sultanic, do we need to, see if the majority of the board wishes for us to find that information? Not that I'm opposed to it, I'm just making sure that we're meeting the majority.
Technically, we don't need to have authority to do an RFP because
Okay.
ultimately the board votes on it. However, since I presume there would be a significant amount of work that would be associated with such an RFP, that we probably should get a litmus test as to whether or not the board is prepared to undertake that. And I'm not so sure if that, I know in terms of your motion you were referring to the athletic director. I'm not sure if that's the role of the athletic director or the director of facilities or the CFO of the organization in terms of doing the RFP, in terms of going through that. But it would seem to me that given the amount of dollars that would be involved in this, because this is not an insignificant expenditure on the part of the school district, that it probably would make sense to see if there is sufficient support on the board to explore that. Do we have an idea of what? I know I do, but I'm not of what the field turf would cost in today's world.
I did not, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
I do not.
but we are talking about expenditures that would likely run into the millions of dollars for this. So therefore, I do think that it would make sense to have the board, if there is sufficient interest, to do that. Now, right now, that is not an agenda item on today's agenda. We could have a discussion. I would suggest that maybe if there were to be a vote, that we have two options. Number one, that we can say that this is an emergent issue, and in order to comply with the sunshine law. Not so sure that it's emergent at this point. Or we can talk about it and discuss it and see that it may be addressed at the next board meeting in terms of a formal board vote.
I like your second option, just to keep this clear. I think it would be fair to just get a general vibe of what the board feels, and then actually have an actual discussion on it, and have some conversation and come up with a game plan.
Yeah, because right now, we would not be compliant with the Sunshine Act because we did not include that as part of the agenda.
Would you suggest now just a hand raise?
Well, either hand raise or go around, have the board chair wants to elicit information to go and ask individual board members to see if they're prepared to, or what their thought process is on this.
I'm comfortable talking about it at the next meeting and everyone discussing it.
So we could put it as an agenda item for the next meeting, and since you and Mary Beth Torsha developed the agenda, you're saying that this will appear as an agenda item on our next meeting, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, I believe we're skirting along the sunshine law this is not emergent, this is not emergency. So my belief is it should, we're gonna talk about it, should be an agenda item published for whatever meeting we're gonna put it at.
Okay, and perhaps it may be helpful that number one, I'm presuming that this is not a budgeted item for FY 2023, 2024. And secondly, I didn't see it addressed it would normally be something like this in the capital improvement plan, nor is it in the capital improvement plan that the board just adopted. So I think as part of the discussion, if I were a board member, I would want to know what this would mean from a fiscal implication perspective moving forward, because it is unbudgeted and not addressed in the capital improvement plan.
That's the reason I just suggested that we get now.
We gotta start the conversation somewhere.
Right, but, Tony and I are both on finance committee. We know dollars are not there. We've been going through there. There sometimes can be creative financing, but we can discuss that on the agenda. But I just wanted to bring it up, and so now we started a process. It'll be on the next meeting's agenda. Mr. Sultan, you just got elevated.
I mean, just to clarify, we do have, for Tony, you do have direction from the board, and we have a majority of us want to have this?
At least have a discussion, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I mean, we're all good with that? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't wanna hear about 10,000 emails when we get home about things not being done right.
Go ahead, man.
I actually have a question, and it's, well, first I want to congratulate Ms. Dombrowski and welcome her. So congratulations and welcome. It's very exciting to have you. And then I do have a question about, do we have any other teams that raise money for their practice facilities?
Not to my knowledge, no. There wouldn't be a need for any of the other groups because, field hockey is very unique and that this sport has evolved to turf fields. When I played in 1982, we played on grass. So you need to move forward with the times, and the pace of the game has sped up tremendously. Sticks have changed a great deal since the 1980s as well. So before it was kind of like we were using, a garden tool that could plow through the grass, but no longer are made that way. So I know that our wrestling team does on occasion, or they do have a facility, but I can't say that they have to raise monies to, practice there. So no, to my knowledge, but I will make sure and verify with Mr. Palladino, who I'm sure is listening and will text me in a moment to tell me the same. Swimming would be the only other place that we obviously do not have a swimming pool, and that we, but that is part of his budget and or an arrangement that we have with the Y for lanes.
So for swimming, that's coming out of the swim team's budget.
Or else it is a part of a relationship that we have with the YMCA.
Okay. But for our girls field hockey, they're having to raise money for their practice.
They are.
It just seems like an equity issue, and it's a bit concerning. Is there a sorry, this is gonna sound incredibly stupid to most of you, but is there a boys equivalent to field hockey? I don't know. No. Okay, so it's just a female sport.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Ms. Dombrowski. Look forward to your time coming back as a past Boyertown grad. So welcome home. Look forward to your success and welcome aboard.
No comment, I'm good.
Roger.
I'm good.
Ms. Simon?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. No, go ahead.
Welcome aboard, Mrs. Gervais. It's gonna be good. I'm sure Mrs. Landis is ecstatic, so she's not being pulled. But I know my granddaughter's gonna miss Mrs. Landis. I've already heard about that. Thank you so much. So, but I'm sure she will grow to like you too. So, welcome aboard, and congratulations to you ladies for your success.
Wanted to welcome you, Ms. Dombrowski. I was rooting for you. I'm glad you got the job. And I wanted to congratulate you, Taylor, because you got the board to talk about turf fields when I couldn't, and I sit here. So congratulations. That's really all I have. Thanks.
And just to clarify, Ms. Hogan, as I said, no other team does raise money to pay for their practice field, and swimming is no cost due to relationships with the YMCA. So we do, but that's a club, and it's not a PIAA sanctioned sport. Yes. All right. They're a club, which is a little bit different.
They're school affiliated, not school sponsored.
Yes.
They do pay for everything, and they are very
Next, I hate sitting here and saying that our next upcoming meetings are August 8th, which is the committee of the whole meeting, and then August 22nd, which is the Board of School Directors meetings, and both of those meetings will be here. We will begin to move about the school district once school starts, and to be able to have meetings in some of our buildings again. That will start after September, and correct? After September, and we're going to be seeing our middle schools as well as a few of the elementary schools, so that we can include them. Okay?
Meeting adjourned.